kids in my homeroom are tutoring with Kevin. Not only do their grades improve, but I think when their grades improve, it makes them feel better about themselves, so their whole emotional attitude improves also. I decided to use Kevin as a tutor for Alex when he was in 6th grade. He wasn't doing well in school, and his father, we had just been divorced, and so Alex, didn't have a male role model in his life either, so I thought Kevin would fit the bill perfectly. Also, I was teaching here at the time, and it was very uncomfortable because some of Alex's teachers would come up to me during the school day and want to tell me about what Alex was up to, good and bad, which affected my day. When I heard that Alex was having difficulty in a class or not doing what he was supposed to do and he was out of the 6th workload, I would immediately want to go and find him and get him back on the road. So what really helped was Kevin agreed to kind of be the liaison between Alex's teachers and me, and the teachers gradually learned to go to Kevin instead of me if Alex was having problems. Kevin is still helping Alex. Alex is in Alabama now, but I know that they talk on the phone, and Alex asks Kevin for his opinion about things. So it was real important to get Alex to realize that he is a video game addict, and to kind of pay attention to that fact, and also just the way Kevin does business beyond tutoring. He didn't take any baloney from Alex, which Alex needed at the time. He also hung around at Kevin's house a lot, which was great because Kevin has all these kids over there that he's tutoring, and Alex was included in a lot of social activities like canoeing and going to the Renaissance Festival and stuff like that, which was really good. He treated him the same as he treated all kids, even though Alex has this really bad health history, having cancer earlier, and going through his parents going through a divorce. Kevin didn't let Alex use that for sympathy. He just treated him the same, and I think Alex ended up respecting him for that.
Well, I am a recovering video game addict. I am the kind of person that if I find the right game, and the right game for me would mean something real-time strategy, like an Age of Empires, an Empire Earth, Command and Conquer. I wasted years of my life on video games. I'm one of those people who has a real hard time stopping, and who can become engaged and entranced by video games. And after a few years of kind of stopping that compulsive pursuit through friends and various support groups, I decided that my story was something that other people needed to hear. Along with that, I also started to do groups. So I started running and still run support groups for people who want to deal with their gaming issues. And so I decided I would write a book, and my book is called Video Game Junkie, Straight Talk from a Recovering Addict. And it's just about my journey through that, and it's about my work with people who have struggled with the same issue. And I guess the message is that people who obsessively and addictively game are often highly intelligent people, they're often creative people, and we need to help them so that they can bring their great gifts to the world rather than wasting them in front of a computer screen. And I want to say that I don't see video games as all bad. Video games have impart some great qualities. In fact, the U.S. military, their Predator drones that they have all over the world are run from a bunker in California. And guess what? The control center for each Predator drone is remarkably like a video game. So what we're going to find is that increasingly the world is going to appreciate video game adepts to a greater extent, and video game adepts are going to find it easier to share their gifts with the world.
Natalie Shama is currently a junior at Detroit Country Day High School. She is a published author and placed 4th in the National French exam.
Okay, I first heard about Kevin through a doctor at Beaumont who was testing me for A.D.D. And he is a learning specialist with children with learning disabilities, and he told me that there was such thing as an ADD coach, which I had never heard about until then. And he gave me the name of Kevin Roberts and said that he basically helps you with your work, and he is familiar with the struggles of a kid in school or a student who has ADD. And that's how I first heard about Kevin. Okay, so the first time I met Kevin, he was hilarious. And I remember being like in shock because I came over to his house, and the first thing he started telling us about was how he goes to this place called Monty's and has pie with these Arabic people over the weekends, or during the week, I actually think it is. And he was telling us all these Arabic words and stuff, and my mom thought it was hilarious, and so did I. And he also told us about how he holds meditation sessions, and he was telling us the reactions of the really conservative Christian parents and stuff. And he was just, what really drew me in was how funny he was, and it was really not what I was expecting, because when I thought of an ADD coach, I thought of someone being like, all right, you have ADD and you need to work. But he wasn't at all like that. And actually, after I first met him with my mom, like 5 or 6 months passed, and I didn't end up coming over, and that was because I was struggling a lot in school. But I think the entire time I kept thinking I really need to go make use of Kevin as an ADD coach, because what I was really struggling with was finding a good environment to work in. And I remember my mom saying something like, well, don't you think he's really laid back and a little, like, you need someone a little more structured for you? But really what I needed, I felt like, was someone who was the perfect balance between being a disciplinarian, I guess, and helping you do your work, and also being like a friend and understanding and laid back and relaxed. Kevin doesn't really help me with specific subjects. When I need help with things, he helps me with French when I'm studying the night before for something. He's done that a couple times. He helped me study for the national French exam, and I ended up getting 4th in the nation. And he also helps me with English, with oral reports and stuff. Really, though, Kevin doesn't help me with specific subjects, like some people who come over here for help in math and physics or something, but really with everything. There's something really special about the environment at Kevin's. Sometimes I think it's a lot better than working at home, and sometimes I think I'd rather work at home than at Kevin's, because I think with ADD it's sort of like a tricky thing, because I go through like these stages where I'm like, oh, the only place I can do work is at home, or oh, the only place I can do work is at Kevin's. And for a while there, I couldn't do homework at home. For the life of me, I just couldn't sit down and do my work. And Kevin's was like exactly what I needed and more. It was the only place I could sit down and be focused and get anything done. There's something about coming here because you make such a bond with everyone and with Kevin that you really miss the people when you don't come. I actually kind of have a story too. I came back from New York after 1 week in spring break, and the week before I left, I had this huge fight with my mom and my sister. And the last place I wanted to be when I got home from the airport was home. So the first place that I thought of, it was a Sunday, was Kevin's. And I came to Kevin's and I was exhausted and I fell asleep on the couch. But like, I guess it sort of proves to you that Kevin's is also a place where you feel like safe and comfortable. It's almost like you can be having problems at home, but you also have Kevin too, who's another parent figure almost. I actually have another ADD coach, so Kevin is one of my 2 ADD coaches, and she's really different than Kevin's because she doesn't, first of all, she doesn't even have a house where she has study groups, as they call them, but I go to her office once a week, and she helps me plan stuff out, and I don't do that with Kevin. We don't really plan out breaking down stuff or how I'm going to go about doing something or change something in my test-taking skills or stuff like that. So she's more helping me with specific study mechanisms or specific planning mechanisms with ADD, whereas Kevin helps me with giving me a place to do my work and helping me with that actual work, not how I'm going to break it up. He's someone to talk to about specific things I have, like distraction when I'm reading a really boring paragraph. I mean, people can understand that, but there's something like about Kevin's knowingness, I guess. So he's also laid back, and I also have a really good bond with my other tutor, but I also have this other bond with Kevin that's a lot more, I feel a lot more like he's, I don't know. It's almost like you can't even describe Kevin.